Today I want to share with you the process of creation a beauty scene with reflections using Cinema 4D and Redshift. I will walk you through the inter-scene creation process from assembling the assets to the final render. Enjoy watching. Let's add the model to the scene. To do this, go to the File tab, select Merge Object, choose the model, click Open and then click OK. The model is loaded. Now delete everything unnecessary, create a null object, name it Product and place the geometry inside the null. Next, let's create the surface of which our product will stand. Create a disk and name it Ripple. Select the disk and adjust its parameter. Set the radius to 300 cm and increase the segments count to 100 by 100. Now let's add extra detail to the surface. To do this, create a plane effector and add it to the same null object where the disk is located. In the plane effector, go to the parameter tab and make sure the position parameter is enabled. Set Y to 0 and Z to 1. To see the effect working, go to the Deformer tab and change deformation off to polygon mode. Our object has moved slightly upwards. Now let's create ripples that move from the center of the surface towards the edges while gradually fading out. Go to the Fields tab and add spherical fields and increase the radius to 150 centimeters. Go to the Remapping tab, set inner offset to 0, then under Contour mode, select Curve mode, click Load Presets and choose the Gauss Curve preset. Now we have two wave peak. Let's increase their amount. Set spline offset to 200 and spline range to 1000. Now we have ripples spreading from the center outwards. Move to frame 0. Set spline offset to 0%. Click the keyframe button to create a key. Go to the last frame, set it back to 200% and create another keyframe. Check the result. Our ripple animation moved perfectly from the center to the edges. Now let's add a smooth fade out effect. Again, go to Plane, Fields and add another spherical field. Set its size to 125 cm. Under Remapping, choose Contour mode, Curve, and change the blending mode to Multiply. Now the ripple gradually fade out. Let's add another fields to exclude the geometry around the product so the ripple don't intersect with it while moving. Go to Plane, Fields again and this time add a cylindrical field. Inverts and change blending to Min. Now reduce the radius to about 15 centimeters. Now the ripple spread outwards, gradually fade out and avoid intersecting with the object. Let's create water droplets on the object. Duplicate geometry and add it to the volume builder. Set the voxel size to 0.2 and add a volume measure to the volume builder. Name this group product source. Now let's create the droplets. Create a null object and name it drops. Create a sphere and add it to the null. Set the small size of 0.35 and 16 segments when place the sphere inside the cloner. Select the cloner, go to Mode, choose Object Mode, and in the Object tab add the product source. The droplets are now distributed across the object. Increase the count to 500 and add some scale variation. To do this, select the cloner and add a random effector. Go to the Parameter tab, enable Scale, turn on Uniform Scale and set it to 1. The droplets now vary in scale. Let's add even more variation. Select the cloner again and add a shader effector. Go to the Parameter tab and set scale to -1. The droplets disappear. It's fine. Go to the Shading tab, choose Noise, and the droplets appear again. Now increase the contrast slightly by setting lower clip to 20%. Droplets are ready. The scene geometry is complete. Now let's move on to creation materials. Click Create Material Standard. The first material will be for the bottle. Open the material settings. Set the color to black and roughness to 0. Duplicate the material. Change the color to white and set roughness to 0.3. Now add the material blender. Place the first material into the base material color, the second into layer 1 material color, and connect the material blender output to surface. Apply the material to the object and blend the two materials using a mask. Add texture and select the mask. Connect the texture's out color to blend color. Let's check the result. Now the topography appears on the object. Next, create a second material for the cap and apply it to the object. Set the color to white and roughness to 0.3. Duplicate the material and rename it cap. Apply it to the cap and adjust the parameters. Set reflection weight to 0.5 and roughness to 0.5. Add a slight bump effect using Maxon noise. Go to coordinates and set overall scale to 1. Add bump map node and connect noise out color to the bump map input. Then connect the bump map output to the material's bump map. Reduce height scale to 0.03. As you can see, the cap has a subtle bump texture. Now let's create the droplets material. Create materials standard, name it drops, and apply it to the droplets. In the settings, set roughness to 0 and IOR to 1.33. Set transmission weight to 1 and dispersion to 64.17. Create another material for the surface. Choose standard. Name it ripple. Apply it to the surface and change the settings. Set roughness to 0.05 and transmission weight to 1. Now let's create the camera. Create two null objects and camera. Name the camera Camera Z. Name the first null Camera Rotate. And the second Camera Move. Place Camera Z inside Camera Rotate and Camera Rotates inside Camera Move. Go to Object, Focal Length and set it to 80 mm. Go to Coordinates and reset all values. Set the Z parameter to -350 cm. Move the camera to 22 and rotate it a little to -3. Check the composition. Great, the framing looks good. Now let's move on to the lighting. First, let's create a background and apply a gradient to it. Create a plane and place it inside a null. Name BG. In the Object tab, set the size to 500 by 200 and segments to 1 by 1. Set the rotation to Z. Move it away from the object to 350. Now go to the materials and create a background material. Create materials, incandescent. Apply the incandescent material to the background. Open the material settings and create a ramp node. Expand the color tab and switch to RGB values. For the first color, use warmer tones 155, 65, 35. Now click the second slider. Move it slightly, set knot position to 80%, 25, 125, 200. Connect out color to emission color and increase radiance. Check the gradient. Everything works perfectly. Now let's add lighting. Create the main light, K-light. Create null, named K-light, and add a area light. Open its settings, set a low intensity value of 1. Set the size to 50 on X and 20 on Y and reduce spread to 0.3. Position the light slightly away from the object at -50. Raise it up to 25 and rotate it to 90 and -25. Check the result. Great, everything works. Now add the backlights. Create a null, name backlight. Add area lights and adjust its settings. Set the intensity to around 0.6. Set the size to 470 on the X and 300 on Y. Change the color in RGB to 205, 138, 104. Check the result. Everything works, but we should move it further back to -30. 100 and rotate it to 180 and -25. Now everything is properly aligned and the gradients blends nicely into the surface. Let's create fill lights. First, create a cold fill lights. Create an area lights, name it fill light cold, and adjust the settings. Set the intensity to 20. Set the RGB values to 175, 225 and 255. Set the size to 80 by 80 and add texture. Move the light back to -100. Raise it up to 25 and rotate it to -35 and rotate it to -35. Great, our lighting setup is starting to look really good. Now we only need 2 warm lights to illuminate the left sides of the object. Create another null and name it fill lights warm. Add an area lights and adjust the settings. Set the intensity to 20. Set the RGB values to warmer tones. 205, 138, 104. Set the size to 120 by 120 centimeters. Add the texture. Move the light to -100 and rotate it to 110 and -35. The left side of the object is now illuminated. Next, exclude these lights from affecting the surface. Go to the Project tab, Exclude, and add the Ripple object to the Exclude list. duplicate the light. Keep all settings the same, but slightly adjust the coordinates. Set them to -220 and -35. And raise both lights to 25. Our lighting setup is complete. Let's render the image and see the final result. The render is finished and the image is ready. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. You can find the project files for this lesson on my Boosty or Patreon pages, where you can also support my work. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye everyone.